Welcome to Respect My Crown, the podcast. I have a very special guest today. She is a speaker, a teacher, a pastor, a mama, a wife. She is a content creator, a creative strategist. Did I miss it? She's a former hooper. All right, I know that.
Look at the wrist.
Yeah, look at her wrist. She is just an incredible person that I've had the pleasure of meeting, last year or the year before. I can't even remember. Yeah. COVID has just stopped time, but she is a pastor at my church. Nation, where you at? Pastor Julia Tucker. How are you?
I am good. I'm doing really, really good, JJ. And, I love every time I get a chance to talk with you.
We always have lots of laughs, and it won't be any different because we're going to start off with a game. Okay. I'm going to put 15 seconds on the clock.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Now, here are the rules. You cannot say, and you cannot repeat the same one twice. You ready?
Okay.
15 seconds. All right. Oh, wait, let me make sure. You see, it said 23 seconds, and that was going to be 15.
Listen, don't
seconds. Okay. 15 seconds. Can't say, cannot repeat the same one twice. Name 5 things you may hear people say at church. Go.
Amen. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. Thank you. Welcome.
You did it. That was good.
My nerves got me for a second there. I had to stay calm, cool under pressure, baby.
You did it. I am impressed because so many people be like, she did not do it. Okay, good job. She's a church girl. She knows. I was like, that's good. Okay, so today I want to just learn a little bit about you. I know that you are the online campus pastor at Transformation Church, but I want to know, have you always been in ministry? When did, what were you doing before ministry, and how did you get into ministry?
Man, okay. So ministry is very interesting. So when you talk about working for a church, that came much later, but being in ministry probably happened way earlier. Okay. So growing up, I served at my church. I volunteered. I was part of our youth ministry back home. But I never thought I would be a pastor or in church like that.
Yeah.
I felt like I was called to do marketplace ministry. And so I saw myself as being a business owner, entrepreneur, a doctor, and playing basketball, all the things while also being an artist. And so really, I would say the love for God started off real young, but my heart for just being in pursuit of what his desire and will was for my life started at a young age. And it wasn't until, I was in college and I got my minor in youth ministry, but my major was actually health exercise science, pre-sports medicine.
Wow.
So my goal was I'm going to finish up college. I'm going to go get my OD, MBA kind of degree after this. And I'm gonna become a sports bra model because I was playing ball. So I was like, good money, and be able to underwrite other businesses and launch our own and different things like that. But I would always serve and be a part of the church. And then I would say somewhere as I got into just the workforce in general after graduating from college, ministry became a bit more apparent and was highlighted for me. So I served at the time it was Greenwood Christian Center, now Transformation Church, but I served our pastors, and I had the opportunity to lead in a lot of different ways, doing music, doing stuff with youth, leading groups and stuff like that. And over time, and probably because I got married to my husband who I don't remember how old he was, heard God telling him he was called to pastor. And he was like, I don't even like people. And so, which is hilarious, now to think of that. And I didn't know him back then, but I knew that was a call on his life. Can't say that I knew that was a call on my life at the time, but he was, we was together, and
Yeah.
I knew, relationally, I knew that we were meant to be together, that it was yes. And that for both of us, it was creating space for what God was calling us to do, creating space for my purpose, creating space for his purpose. But I told him, I was like, so do you expect for me to be like, what is it? A first
First
lady? Because
lady,
I'm gonna be
yeah.
the only lady, baby. That's what we do, those things. But what did that practically mean for me? And so he never boxed me into anything, as far as not being able to be who I am and to express
Yeah.
myself the way that I do and pursue the different things that God has for me. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, somewhere in the midst of us graduating college and getting married, was when we started, I guess, feeling more of a pull towards ministry and church. We were doing a lot of things in the marketplace, and doing a lot of side business things. But it was 2018. No. It was before then. It was like 2015, excuse me. 2015, when Pastor Mike and Pastor Nat came to us and talked with us about becoming their number two. And before that, I would say maybe a year or two before that, we knew that transition was coming just for us. And we thought that was leaving Oklahoma and going to another state in pursuit of another job opportunity. And that from there we would launch into ministry. And it wasn't that. There was certain opportunities that came up, but it was like the Lord was saying no. And it was like, okay. And again, we get to about 2014, 2015, and we start feeling that again. It's like, there's while business is good, doing, my husband was in IT and I was in fraud investigation and different stuff. While doing that, it was cool. We were making good money. We were hitting all the different goals that we wanted to hit, doing different investments, different things like that. But there was this other part of us that wasn't being fulfilled or satisfied, which was the call of God that, ultimately has been on our lives. And I remember we got a call and it was like, what if you get asked to be, the executive pastor? And I was like, well, that ain't gonna happen, and so I'm like, we're trying to get out of here. Like,
Right.
this opportunity, we can travel, we can go overseas. And I think it was a lot simpler than you might have thought. It was like, we got approached. It was a conversation. We're sitting down in front of Pastor Mike and Nat, and we both knew in our spirit at the time that the answer was yes. And we just took a little bit more time. It was like January of 2015. And that actually February 1st of that year, my birthday, we became the executive pastors at TC. Never saw it coming. Like, who goes to their church and then sees themselves, eventually being a part and leading at that level. So
yes.
Yeah, it kind of just happened.
And what is it like working with your husband? I see you vibe so well. I feel like we're just at home, like just kind of watching y'all in your regular element. But
yes,
to work with your husband, go home and, oh, you're here too, huh? And like what is that like? What's the dynamic like? And were there adjustments that needed to be made when you started working together?
Yeah. So this is kind of like a two-phase type of question, because when we first started, I was over our weekend experience when we first started, and we were doing a lot of communicating on the stage, different things like that. We were still working our secular jobs, and then we were doing ministry on the weekend, so our time was split. And so I remember, those times were very interesting because I was helping him in his communication, but it was like, I'm overseeing this area. And so I have to evaluate and do all the different things. And so we were working on it on the weekend, yes. And I remember there were some very distinct times where I had to recognize when he needed his wife, when it came to just in the moment of I don't want to say correcting, but of coaching, and of encouragement. Like I had to know that line when he needed me, not to be the person that was overseeing this experience, but you need your wife right now to be your encourager, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and not look at the excellence. And so I think that season grew us because we weren't working together heavily as far as day to day. But we had the experience that we did on the weekend that required us working together on something specific. So you fast forward to the season that we're at now, we both get to serve as the online pastors. And I absolutely love working with my husband.
Yeah.
And I always have. Like, I think we have a very good rhythm. And we tell any person that is like coming to be on staff in our area, in our department, we tell them now, if we have a little tiff, it's not a big deal. We're going to disagree on certain things, you know, but I think because our dynamic works so well, we know how to agree to disagree and just leave it. And I don't believe that I can't think of a time really, and this is like, not like a holier than thou or anything. I don't remember a time where stuff at home spilled over into the office. You know, it's just like things kind of switched. Now, do things from the office spill into home? Probably, you know, like calendar, baby. You were on that calendar. Like, I'm not your secretary. Like, you know, I can't keep your email and my, like, we're not doing
right.
So, you know, those things, they get a little funny at times. And I'm like, we lead in two different ways. But I think we complement each other.
Yeah.
You know, when people ask me like, what's your favorite thing about working at TC? And it really genuinely is being able to work with my husband.
Aww.
Now we got to work in two different areas a few years ago previously, but we found moments and opportunities for us to collaborate. And when we got the opportunity to go into this role, it was like, oh man, it's about to be like, you know, and really, and you said this, even like what I try to share on our Instagram, this is really us. We try to live our lives authentically, you know, and in a way where it inspires others, where it can encourage others. And it's an opportunity to pour out what the Lord has taught us and shown us, not just in our marriage, but even as friends, because we're really good friends. Like I love hanging out with my husband. I
could tell. I could tell. I'm glad you said that because I'm curious. You have shown us through your social media that family is a priority for you all. You have two little ones, Nathan and Alexis. Yes. And I love seeing, you know, everything. Y'all dancing videos are what I love the most. I'm like, my girl, she Pastor Julia, but okay, she still know how to dance. And
you already know it.
You know, so how, or I guess what advice would you give to somebody who's in ministry like yourself, still having a family? You know, I'm always iffy with using the word balance because I don't know if there really is a such thing as balance, but how do you create that and still make your family priority when you are still building a brand, right? In a church and doing ministry at the same time?
Yeah. You know, it hasn't always been easy, especially because when you start building something that's new, and you're creating a new blueprint or trying to figure out what the blueprint is, it can be all consuming, you know, and it's not just what you physically do, but it's mentally. Like, where's your mind? Where's your thought? I can remember times waking up at 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have my mind on work stuff or on church stuff, whatever that is. And I remember I had gone to a conference of our friends, and one thing that she said, and this was more specific when I had kids, because I wanted to know, like, how are we about to balance this all? You know, and she made this statement and it changed the game for me. And she said, your children are graced for you. And I was like, okay. Because I had never approached it in a way like, oh, they're graced for me. Now, I say this all the time that I have to lean into that grace and that wisdom, which means I can't say yes to everything.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I've got to set right priorities and boundaries and different things like that. I remember early on, even in our marriage for he is your man's man. He is a gentleman through and through. And with that, he's also a helper. So he could overcommit himself
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of him or at the expense of our time. And so I had to help my brother out a little bit. I said, baby, okay, because you can't be helping everybody move every weekend. This is what you can do. You can say, you know what? Let me get with my wife and I'll get back to you.
Right.
And so
Put it on her. Her said no.
We'll take it. Let me check. You don't know what we've got going on. And that was 100% fine. And so I look at where we're at now. We have so much communication between the two of us. And we have set like our family, it's a priority. It really is, because the greatest stewardship responsibility I believe that the Lord has given us is of our relationship and our relationship with our children.
Yeah.
We are a reflection of who God is to our children.
Mm.
And God gave us this amazing responsibility. But when I hear things are off from my son or my daughter, I have to check me and I have to lean in like, okay, God, where am I off? So if they're knowing when you have kids and when you're married, there are sacrifices.
Absolutely.
And last year, the Lord just really, he wrecked me. And there was a book that I read, and it's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And one of the lines he said in there is, you don't love well when you're in a hurry. And I said, oh, and I had just finished fussing at Nathan because we was trying to get him to school, all of that. And he's like, think about it. When you're rushing to get to a place, how do you respond to individuals?
Yeah.
And from that point, I felt like the Lord was saying to me, like, you can do amazing things. You have a lot of things, but I need you to live your life in the margin, because I need you to be able to love yourself well, love your husband well, and love your children well.
Yes.
And that is now my conviction. And as a result of that, it anchors me to keeping hold of my boundaries, and stewardship, and knowing that I can't please everybody, and that's okay. And everybody's not called to have my energy and all of those different things. But I have to know that I have to seek God, because he's going to give me wisdom. Like at the end of the day, he's the one who's leading me, going to give me wisdom to say yes, say no. And then I got to be honest about areas where I've dropped the ball and I wasn't disciplined with my time and all of those different things. It's like, yeah, Jay, that's your fault.
Yeah,
you messed up honey. You stressed out, or you ain't living in the margin because of you. So bad preparation or whatever. And all of that. So, and really, that idea I think is prevalent even to entrepreneurs and business owners. And if you're in the workforce, I've got some friends and different people I've poured into, and it's like, you've got to make it a priority. Is this a non-negotiable for you? Because people will do what you allow them to do. So if you text me about work stuff at 6:00 and I respond, cool. First time, second time, third time, fourth time, 10th time. Now we've got a pattern, and that it's okay. You can text me at any hour, anytime, and I'm going to be available. But when I start to put boundaries around, it's like, no, this takes energy away from me being attentive to my family, or this sends me on a different track record mentally, and now I can't enjoy date night and be present. So yeah,
that's so good. That's so good. One of the questions I was asked last year, I had a chance to speak with Pastor Brenda, and you and I have talked. I and your husband have talked, and y'all had some really good questions for me. And something that popped up that I loved this question, because it was, where do you struggle as a Christian? And, just maybe a couple of weeks ago, well, it might have been longer than that. Pastor Mike got on stage and talked about cussing, right? And I was so grateful for this because people need to hear this. I love that our church is transparent. So he gets on stage, he's like, look, like, I'm funny. And like, sometimes I cuss and it's like funny, like it's, it adds to my joke or whatever. And he's like, God convicted him about it.
Yeah.
And, we all fall short, obviously, as Christians, but is there a certain place that you struggle, that you're like, it's this one thing that I'm God's still working on me? What's that thing?
I don't have anything. I'm perfect.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Over this is what I'll say. Over the last couple of years, last year and probably this year, it's pride. And it's pride in the most subtle way. Like, I'm not a prideful, arrogant person, not that. But it's like the little things. It's the little foxes. So the other week, this was maybe about a month or so ago. And I was like, oh yeah, pride's still there. Okay. So I'm at the gym, right? And I often try to process my motives. Like, why am I doing things? Why do I post? Why do I want to go do that? Why you want to say, I'm checking my motives.
Yeah.
So I'm at the gym. My husband and I were doing our workout, and then we're racking up stuff. And I see this girl and she's bench pressing or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna go over there and bench press. Right?
Oh boy.
And so, so then I'm over here, and it's probably competitive too. So I'm over here and I'm questioning myself, like, why do you need to go over there? Why do you want to go over there? It's like,
because you're an Enneagram 8 and that's what y'all do. Oh, you can do it. And the other part of that is, it was partly pride, and then the other part was insecurity. And so, just to unpack that, my pride wanted to show you that I can do what you can do and so much more. The insecurity was, or has been in the past, like, I'm not slim thick yet, but I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying? So that insecurity part is like, my appearance may make you think that I'm weak and unhealthy. Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I remember I sat there and Dee walks up to me. He's like, what? I was like, man, I got to get this pride up out of me. I got to get it out of me. And there are times where I just lay before the Lord, like, Lord, any pride, I want you to take it. Like,
yes.
I know he's holding me to a higher standard. And I didn't even realize probably 2 years ago, a year ago, that maybe there was pride.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize that. But as soon as I recognized it, it's like, Lord, I'm going to continue to lay it down. And Dee had said something to me one day. And I talked about this on a prayer night. I was like, our communication has been off. And he told me, he went back later on and prayed and was like, okay, what happened? And then he shared it with me. And it was something that I had said that kind of shut certain things down. And I was like, oh man. Now pride would say, don't go apologize and don't go repent. And I went back and I was like, man, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Because as a result of something I said or did, it turned off this faucet that God was trying to downpour to you. And then 2, I had to go sit before God and be like, Dad, I need you to work this stuff out of my heart, out of me, so that it's not like just a natural instinct, that I don't just go off of what I feel and all of those things. And so, I would say pride is one of those spaces. Cussing, not necessarily, not really. Pride is, though.
I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm sure so many of us struggle with pride, and it can look so different, right? Like how you saw it, somebody else may not even saw that that's what that was, right? And it's just like, it can sneak in so many different areas of our lives. So I appreciate you sharing it. We need that transparency.
Yeah.
This is how we grow. That's why when Pastor Mike said, cussing is my thing, I was like, because I know so many saints I'm a type 1, so I'm judging everybody. All of y'all need to get saved again. All right. So
Oh my God.
you and your husband, like, and all I know is from what I see or what you have shared with me in the past, but I feel like there's this dynamic marriage ministry that is evolving.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, I want to know more about the impact that you want to make for couples. Like, what is it? What is it that you're like, I gotta drill this in because I know this is an area that they really need to know.
Man, wow, that is a loaded question.
I try.
You know, I think what I'll say is what I try to display maybe on my Instagram is that marriage can be fun and it can be a partnership.
Yeah.
You know, and I say partnership in the sense of my husband makes me better and I make him better.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and I mean the nasty, of like what your struggle is or what my struggle is. And if I were to say something that the Lord, did in our relationship and in our marriage, which is one that we would want to give to other people, is that he taught us about how to be a safe space for one another. Mm-hmm. And so my husband had his addiction with pornography and all of that. And I have my own insecurities or different things. I mean, one time I hit a parked car and I didn't, leave no note.
You hit a park. Wait, you hit a park car.
I did. First of all, don't come for me. Don't come for me, JJ.
I was just making sure I heard you right.
It happens. It's been a while. I had no kids at that time. Okay.
So much
I wasn't even a pastor at that time. No. I did. I tried to ease my. But funny enough, I didn't want to tell Dee about it, and I didn't want to leave no note. You know what I'm saying? And so when I said to get the bad ugly, so I have my things. It's it's different in some instances, but I think because we've put in the work to create that safe space, it means that we can be vulnerable. It means that we can be transparent, and we feel that it unites us even more.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
There's something to be said when my husband knows all the ins and outs, and I know all the ins and outs. And knowing that God has graced me and God has graced him for these things, for these moments, I think it helps us when we're in the pit and we need help. Mm-hmm. So if I'm having a moment, or if my husband is having a moment, I'm not offended by the fact that you're having a moment.
Right.
And usually what happens is it isn't until there's action as a result of a moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the funk hits the fan or everything starts blowing up. But the reality is we all experience the attacks of the enemy or our insecurities or just our humanity, and I don't believe that God desires for us to try and manage it on our own. I mean, he sent us the Holy Spirit, right? But he also sent us a brother and sister to be Aaron's and hers for one another, that when you're in the pit, baby, I may not drag you. I won't drag people that I walk with or different stuff like that, but I will walk with you. So in the case of my marriage, when Dee was struggling and he came to me and he opened up about that, now he equipped me as a wife, one, to know how to pray. Because there's some devils and demons that we don't necessarily have to go pray about and ask the Lord to reveal. Baby, just reveal it to me, Yes. And if right now is a struggle, okay, I am your built-in accountability partner. Yes. And the same thing vice versa. Like, you are the reason why I told him about the pride, I could, pridefully walk on and act like nothing's going on. Yeah. But he's my built-in accountability partner. And as a result, our unity becomes stronger, our family becomes stronger, and our children eat of that. You know,
Yes.
they get the benefit of that. They get the fruit of that. Being able to watch mom and dad, be safe spaces for one another and be humble
Mhm.
enough to share their failures and their victories,
Yes.
you
Oh
know,
gosh,
and
yes.
to admit that, yeah, it is for us, it has literally changed the game. And um, when I say that, when I say about being a safe space, it's not easy when you first start out because you're saying I'm being vulnerable. And the thing about being vulnerable, it's sensitive.
Oh,
It has the ability to break. It has the ability to hurt in ways like nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
hmm.
I, will you use this to harm me and hurt me? Or will
Right.
you allow this to be a safe house, a safe space where I can bear all, share all, and you cover me? Don't cover up, but you cover me. You pray for
Hmm.
me and you play your role. Like,
Yes.
that's got us to where we're at today to say, like, hey, you've been free from that for however long. You know,
Yeah.
I don't remember how
Yeah.
long it's been, but you've been free from that because you're not offended when I come and check in on it. I'm not offended with you when you come and check in on me because
Right.
we have a safe space. Or if there's an argument or whatever, like the issue I was saying before when he said, hey, so I went back and prayed, and when you did this, this is what happened. It's a safe space because you know I'm not about to say, listen now, let me
Right.
bring up something you did. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Woo! And
It's like,
people
oh, you
sure
just
to do
triggered
it.
me.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. There's this
yes,
space, I hear you saying too, like there's a space for this compassion, right? Which is how Jesus was. It just shocks me because you see this in Christian churches. This is how we treat people as a church.
yes,
We can often not, we don't make space for people to be vulnerable and transparent, right? And
yes.
there's so much judgment in these in many churches. And so for you to kind of say, hey, this won't be, it's not going to be like this in my house, like this, we're doing
Yeah.
this differently. And you're right, and kids need that more than anything. I did a TED talk last week about transparency, when I started by talking about me and my daughter having this very uncomfortable, awkward
Yes,
conversation, but how it's led to many more, and it's strengthened
yes,
our relationship.
yes.
When I can create a space for her to be able to come to me and say whatever. I don't care if it's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable or awkward or
Yes,
whatever. And you know, but there's compassion.
yeah.
There's a just a
It's,
safe space.
there's compassion, there's empathy,
Yeah.
there's grace. And I say that because empathy causes you to move, and grace allows you to put yourself in their same seat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To say,
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'll mess up. Maybe not the same way, but things that I could do could be just as bad.
Oh
And
yeah.
now I can continue to extend grace. And I love what you just said on there. And this is where I say you got to exercise vulnerability, exercise transparency, because it is awkward when you first start.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes people feel like it's control. Why are you trying to control me? Why do you need to know this?
Yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
you need to know that? No, boo boo, I'm about you being successful,
Yes.
us being
Yes.
successful, you know? And so now these conversations are easier. They're awkward for other people, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's easier. It's not a big thing. It's like,
Yeah.
no, this is
Yeah.
just what we do. You're
Yeah. It's
sore when you
normal.
first start working out, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But after a while, now you start putting more weights on the bar. And as a
Yes.
result of that, you can have conversations about bigger issues.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what
That's
I'm
so
saying? As
good.
they pop up or as they come up. So anyway, that was really
So
good.
good. That's good. So you and Pastor Demario are mentors to others, whether it's marriage or just in ministry as a whole. Who are your mentors? And how do they, hold you accountable in your life?
Yeah. Okay. So mentoring is very interesting because you can be mentored by people and they don't know that they are your mentors.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And so I think I feel like we have a lot of those from the, I don't know, from the marriage. And I have to think about that one. I know one of my husbands is Keith Moore is a guy that he listens to frequently. He's not in relationship with him. But if I was to say somebody that's here Pastor Tommy and Pastor Brenda
Yeah.
have been some amazing. We were talking to Pastor Brenda last night. We hit her up when we were in the office. I was like, all right, Pastor. I was like, you got a few minutes? I got a second. I was like, okay, just hit us up after. And then she called me last night, and we were just having a conversation with her, and it just helps to bring clarity to a couple of different things that we were trying to navigate and figure out. And it's like, Lord, we've been praying. And so we're inviting somebody into this to pray with us. The other ones, it's oddly enough, we were once mentors to them, but now we're parallel in relationship for which is interesting, but they're some of our best friends. But they have covered us, challenged us, both in our marriage. Like, we went on a big trip in October with a bunch of married couples.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes,
it was cute. Y'all on the beach in black, like.
Yes.
Y'all look so happy. Everybody looks so happy. I was like, please get away. Have a good time.
It was so good. And we had real authentic conversation around the table. And sometimes you think that your mentors can't be your peers.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But they, the Clemens, they have mentored us a lot, for sure. And I'll say, I mean, there's a variety, I think from communication, for me has been Priscilla Schreier, Andy Stanley, Charles, of course, and Bree. Here, those are a few of the mentors for me. And then even spiritually, like I said, I think Pastor Brenda has played a big role since coming into ministry. Yeah. Bishop Gary as well. And then some other people that you may or may not know on that end. But I think oftentimes I look for mentors now in a very unique way. So there's also a church out in California. And the question is, am I growing? Am I learning? And whatever that sphere is that I'm trying to learn something in, it could be music. And so Evan could be one of my mentors, musically speaking. And so I've found different people. Some are Christians, some are not, but I can learn something from them. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm curious to know, we're going to be wrapping up soon, because, you and I could talk all day, and we've almost done that before. I'm like, oh, it's been 3 hours. Okay. I want to know, what's a scripture that you've been meditating on lately?
It's a great question. It's been a lot. It's the reason why it's been a lot. So I'm working on this teaching, and so it's probably been the one that I've been chewing on, and it's been convicting. And it's James 5:12. And it's where he's saying, do not swear on the heavens or the earth. Let your yes be your yes, your no be your no. And obviously I've been chewing on that because I'm teaching on it, and just doing more expository, breaking it down. But I think what that's led me to is my integrity, and thinking about how we are a reflection of God. And I was thinking about this actually this morning, as I was rolling up to the office, getting out the car. And I was like, we are a reflection of God. And I forgot what song I was listening to. There's so many of us who have a word from God. And between seeing the fulfillment of God's word and where we're at right now, there are things that are in between that. And sometimes we experience disappointments, because we're not seeing that word come to fruition yet. We've painted this picture, we've done all of these different things. And the thing that helps to keep us anchored is the fact that he said it in his word. So we can trust his word. We can trust his yes, we can trust his no. And because we're called to be a reflection of him, and we're image bearers, it's like he's saying, I need your yes and your no to hold that same weight. I don't need you to say, I swear, or oh my mama, or this is that. So could I live my life in such a way that I am a woman of my word? not just to the people that are around me, but can I keep my word to myself?
Mm.
So the other day, I think it was yesterday, I posted on my Instagram this workout. And when I tell you, I did not want to go to the gym and do this work. I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew he was going to work our tails off. But I sat up and started to get ready. It was 5:50 something. And I was supposed to be there at 6:15. Now, I got to drive somewhere and it's not right down the street. So it's 54, 57. I'm not dressed. I got to brush my teeth. I got to do all the things. And I sat up, my body's aching and I'm moving slow, brush my teeth. I get back in the bed to get dressed, sit on the bed. And D goes, "Where are you going?" I was like, "The gym." And he says, "Well, which gym?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to King's." He's like, "Do you know what time it is?" And I was like, it was like 6:05. So it's 6:05 at this point. It starts at 6:15. It's not 10 minutes down the road. And I still wasn't fully dressed. And so I was like, I know. And I sat there and what I thought to myself was, you made a commitment and said that you were going to show up. I know you're tired. You can go right back to sleep right now. I know your body is hurting, but my integrity, my commitment, my yes is what caused me to finish putting on my hokas, grab my water bottle,
you got them
my
good
gloves. Yeah, girl, I had to get the right stuff at this age.
Yeah.
Somebody, come on. But it caused me to go. And I think I did the workout. It wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough. It was mental. It was all the things. But I got better.
Yeah.
And I say that because that scripture I think became more real, in a sense of, I could have flaked, but I would have damaged my integrity to myself.
Mm-hmm. To yourself first, right? To yourself.
It's one thing to hold your word to everybody else, but how many times do we damage our integrity and our word to ourselves? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show it there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna reset. It's.
I didn't know you was gonna be convicting people today. That's not why. That's not
Not
why I had
all.
her on the podcast. But if you listening in the shoe fits, then it's yours. Okay.
It's facts. You're the one that asked the question. It wasn't me.
Pastor Julia, I love you. I'm so blessed by this conversation today. I really wish we might have to have a part 2. We might have to come back later this year and do it again because there's so much more that I could definitely ask. Where can people find you and discover more about you?
I am pretty active on Instagram at I am Julia Tucker. And I have a website coming soon, which will follow the same thing. But if you follow me on IG, it's probably the place where I'm most active. Every once in a while, you'll find me on TikTok, but
my TikTok up. I got no posts on TikTok. like 3.
Listen,
you know what it is.
I will use some of the assets of TikTok and go right over there to IG. But,
right.
IG is probably where I'm most active, where you can find me and kind of see different resources. And as stuff comes up, you'll see things there. That's like the main place. I do want to say this because I didn't mention this. 2 people that have been mentors. Obviously, I go to TC, but it's Pastor Mike and Natalie. And I say that because I've been able to watch him from when he was a youth pastor to now and to see and be behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? And to see the growth and all of the different things. And I don't say that because of who they are today in a sense of people know them, but honestly, it's just the way that they've moved over the years. And to watch the one thing, and I've told people like this, said the one thing I can count on is when God tells him something, he will do it. Even if it's at the beginning. He's talked about this. I remember when he was about to teach the money series or different stuff. And it was but what did God say? It's y'all, that's my bad. God is saying, like, let me go ahead and back that up.
Yeah.
And so I think over the years, it's taught me some things, is because there's a lot of similarities, character from our characteristics and stuff, but definitely, two of the other people that have influenced, I'll say us for sure. So yeah.
Oh, that's
but yeah, find me on IG. I'm Julia Tucker, or even D. Every once in a while, I might get on his stuff. He don't like to be as active as I am.
D, step it up.
I know. But we've got some cool things in the work. But if you follow me on IG, you'll be able to keep up with all of those amazing people.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Thank you for your time. Thank you for inspiring us today. Thank you for your beautiful smile. And we can also catch you sometimes on the, I can't call it the pre-show. It's like, it's not, it's like
TC post. You can find me on there on occasions. Usually you'll see me on there maybe the first of the month or somewhere in the middle. It just kind of depends, what's going on and where we're at. So yeah. Those are that is it. At Transformation Church. You can find me at Transformation Church. You know what I'm saying? I'm here on Sundays. I'm here obviously during the week.
All day, every day.
Okay? I love you.
Today's podcast is brought to you by The Blessings Gallery, located at 1625 Westheimer in the Montrose area of Houston, Texas. The Blessings Gallery features a curated selection of houseplants and vinyl records. Thank you for making The Blessings Gallery your favorite houseplants and vinyl records boutique in Houston.